This is a Centerpin reel. Centerpin. No drag. Forward or backward. But it does have a clicker. Why use this kind of reel? These are used extensively for float fishing. It just so happens I make and sell floats, right? So I lost my fly reel early this year, and I've taken all the rest of the spring and the summer to think about what direction I wanted to go and how I wanted to fish the autumn and maybe even the winter and next spring. And I decided on this because it combines essentially everything I do. My fishing methods boil down to two types. One, line fishing, and two, long pole fishing. My line fishing consists of jug lines and hand lines that you've seen me do with the jugging show, if you go search that out, and two, all the hand lines that you see me making and selling and people buying all the time. I like that because it gives you a connection to a direct connection to a wild creature, but it's not a very efficient way to manage the line itself. My second form of fishing is long pole fishing, which I use a fly rod, crappie rods, and cane poles, all rigged in various ways. And I love the fly rod, but it's not the most effective way to use live bait that I love. I love crappie rods, but you get so much line twist with spinning reels that it's not fun at all. I love the cane pole, but I can only fish as deep or as far away as the pole is long. If I have a 14-foot cane pole, at the most I can cast is essentially, well, 28 feet away. 14-foot pole plus 14 feet of line, I can cast out about 28 feet. Well, what if the fish are 100 feet that way? I'm out of luck, right? Because there's no drag, I have to manage the drag actually with my hands. See? I get to use light line like I love with cane poles and fly rods. And I get to use my hands to manage the line like I would with my hand line. You rig this the same as you would very similarly to a fly rod or fly reel. As you see, it's a good bit wider in diameter, but a lot narrower in the size of the arbor. You use backing. Here I'm using Scientific Anglers 20-pound test Dacron, just white Dacron. The main line is 10-pound test, which we will use, I guess, 175 yards. I think this technically uses 275 yards of 8-pound test line. 100 yards of backing. We'll fill the rest with 10-pound test of Raven mainline. This is a thin diameter but very strong line that floats. It is not the same monofilament that you get, you know, at the Wally World. It's designed to float, much like fly line, but it is, you see the diameter thickness is only 11 thousandths of an inch, but you have a 10-pound test breaking strength. From there, we'll have split shots for cocking weight and whatnot. We'll have very small swivels we have here. And then we'll use just some good old Berkley Big Game, because I'm primarily targeting catfish, which if you notice, this Berkley Big Game has 11 thousandths diameter, but only an 8-pound test breaking strength. That means this is a thick, this line is just as thick, but not as strong. This will break off faster if it gets hung up. Start by tying a double overhand knot on this one. Come on now. 2. It's basically a stop knot. Clip the tag end. Okay. Off the bottom, right there, this way, and this will go. I'm going to be left-hand retrieving. This thing goes equally backward and forward. If you want right-hand retrieve, you just turn it around backward, man. If you want left-hand retrieve, you just turn it around backward. It doesn't matter. So here, standard arbor knot, except I always go double like this. Want to get better at knots, always check out animatedknots.com. The rod, to attach the braid to the monofilament, you just need to use a simple Albright knot. This is what you get it from animatedknots.com. I can't show you here and do it any justice. So now this mono has a very different texture. It doesn't feel like this sort of mono. It's a completely different material. It's a different material altogether. It feels like miniature fly line. In the crappie world, we would call this a Tennessee handle, where there's no fixed reel seat. In centerpin fishing, you have a choice. You can get fixed reel seats or adjustable reel seats. In the crappie world, they call it fixed reel seats or a Tennessee handle. What's the advantage? Because of the variety of line and backing and size of reels, this is about a 4.5, I think it's 4.5 inch reel or 4.75, I forget. They have 5-inch reels. You got different reels with different weights that balance the rods in different ways, because most of these rods come in 11, 12, 13, up to 15-foot lengths. So every rod reel combination will balance differently, and you need to be able to adjust that, right? Now, some guys like their reels way up to the front. Some guys like their reels all the way to the back. And what do the manufacturers do? They'll mostly put it somewhere in the middle. I like mine like this, which is what in the centerpin world they call essentially a Michigan handle. It's a sort of Michigan style. So it's interesting that this Michigan style handle, this Michigan style setup, has a lot in common with a Tennessee style crappie rod. Right? Same basic principles. Although, now I can let's get on here. You can adjust the reel seats up. I may not be able to move it up or down. Customarily, you tape it on. Now I have mine taped interior, electric tape. Put 1 or 2 wraps of electric tape on the balance point where you want it, and then you can slide on. Oh, come on now. You slide on really snug, and that won't go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And that's how you work. So any of you guys who are crappie fishing, you can do the same thing. Now, a lot of guys will just tape the entire reel seat on and just leave it on. I don't want to do that. I prefer to put the tape under the adjustable ring style seats here, and it works fine. I've got it dialed into where I like it, kind of toward the back like a fly rod, and it's quite comfortable.